The critical issue, as I see it, with maintaining good balance is the challenge of multitasking. There is a quite fascinating individual by the name of John Pepper who has written a book. He's an Australian, has Parkinson's symptoms, and John Pepper decided, like many other people, he was going to figure out ways to reverse his own Parkinson's symptoms. What John Pepper reports is a significant challenge he encounters with doing two things, two tasks at the same time. So when I say two things, for example, when John Pepper is taking a walk by himself, he is focused on his balance, his gait, where he's going, what he is doing, and he doesn't have any serious balance issues, and he certainly is not risking a fall. But when he's walking with a partner, with a friend, with an acquaintance, with somebody that might be interviewing him, which was the case for the book chapter that Dodge published in his own book, he has significant difficulties. He's trying to listen, he's trying to talk, and he's also walking. Now, when he was younger, of course, we can run, we can walk, we can talk, we can do different things at the same time. But as it turns out, when neurological symptoms are an issue, it is a significant challenge to be able to multitask. So given that we know that's an issue with balance, then clearly focusing on enhancing the ability to multitask can provide a huge benefit to enhancing your balance and increasing your ability to have swift mobility. So let me just point out, a lot of people always wonder, well, why is it that men are more likely to experience mobility challenges than women? And as many of you probably are aware, why is it that men are significantly more likely to be diagnosed with Parkinson's symptoms than women? Well, the answer is that women are really great at multitasking. Men are not. Men are lousy typically at multitasking. So we can focus on a single activity, but when you ask us to do two things at the same time, we tend to be scrambled in our thinking and in our minds and in our ability to do what it is that we're supposed to be doing. So women are great, men are not. And so that turns out to be one of the big, serious issues that confound a person's ability to maintain good balance. Now, suggestions here on the member website describe practices and habits that will improve and enhance your multitasking abilities and skills. The issue that I want to suggest you might explore is, okay, what's going to be the right strategy for you? So some of these are not going to work for you, but there will be one or several strategies that will be the winning combination for you. Now here's just a few possibilities that you'll find here on the member website, and I want to just say just a few. For example, I've had several people tell me that when they walk, if they bounce a ball as they are walking, they have no difficulty whatsoever with maintaining excellent balance. Now, they've also told me, look, I don't feel as though I'm disabled when I'm walking down my neighborhood street and bouncing a ball. That's what all the kids do. So it's not as if it's something that's a signal of disability, as might be the case for a wheelchair, for example. So bouncing a ball can be the answer that you're looking for. There are several videos here on the website of using walking sticks. So you can think of these as ski poles. And when people can use walking sticks, boy, that mobility is all of a sudden enhanced. And you can walk much faster, much swifter, with much greater confidence. So it's just like you were skiing, actually. And when I say walking sticks, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can go out into the woods and get sticks just as if you were taking a hike. Any kind of a stick will work. Some people like to actually use ski poles. But that, again, can be simple, easy, and it can actually solve some significant mobility challenges. Now, another possibility, and I'm going to be creating some posts that you'll see here in the coming months, of music that you can listen to when you actually walk. This is actually huge. If you get the right kind of beat, which is something like a marching music, then just listening to the sounds is all that you need in order to be able to move quickly and swiftly. And obviously you want to listen to music that you enjoy. If you like rap music, then great, use that. But if you like steel music, then do that. Whatever it is that you're called to listen to, but just make sure that it's not soothing in the sense that it doesn't have a beat. It needs to have a nice, firm, strong beat. And boy, that will all of a sudden enhance and trigger your ability to walk with ease and confidence. Now, the final suggestion that I think is one of the most marvelous I've heard over the last decade of research is, the suggestion is, if you find yourself stumbling with your mobility and frustrated with some pauses, with some gait challenges, etc., then one of the suggestions is, all right, just go back into your past life and ask yourself, well, what have you done in your past life that you love to do? Were you a basketball player? Were you a tennis player? Did you love to ski? Were you a runner? These are all athletic kinds of suggestions, but it doesn't have to be athletic. It can be any activity where there's movement involved. And so go back, think about what you loved to do in the past, and then when you're thinking of being able to enhance your mobility, just go back into those past memories. And so, as was explained in one of the wonderful posts, if, for example, you are having difficulty opening up a door, and it just, sometimes it's no problem, but all of a sudden you have a problem. You, for whatever reason, can't quite get the door turned. Well, go back into your past and think about flipping a pancake when you were a teenager and making pancakes. Well, that immediately, going into that particular space, will enable you to suddenly open the door. I mean, it's like instant. It doesn't take any time whatsoever. And I think I also, there's just so many different possibilities and ideas that are really great ideas. One of them came from Pamela Quinn, who was a former professional dancer from New York City and developed Parkinson's symptoms. And what Pamela mentioned was that if she's, for instance, walking down the street in downtown New York, and she all of a sudden notices that one person who's walking ahead of her has a pretty good gait, and she can hear the steps as that person is walking. She can actually auditorially hear the steps. Well, what she does is she literally just mimics that person in front of her. She walks exactly like that person is walking, and she can do it without any problem whatsoever. So you can follow somebody, and again, it's the auditory, it's the listening that makes a difference in combination with the movement as well. So these are just a few ideas. The idea that I want to introduce to you is, a lot of people think, well, it's going to take months and months and months for me to be able to address this issue. But actually, if you begin to listen to stories and watch yourself, it can be instantaneous. All you have to do is to move into a very different consciousness. This shift really can happen instantly. We're not talking about taking hours or days or weeks or months to be able to enhance really great balance and the ability to walk with ease and confidence. So it really, as I see it, in terms of multitasking, it's a question of changing the channel. You have to turn off the channel where walking has been a struggle and tune in to the channel where walking is pure joy. So that's the issue. It's really to realize, if all of a sudden, for example, You are having difficulty with just walking very slowly. It's cumbersome. All right. The key is to realize you're on a channel that's not working for you. You need to change the channel and go into a different space. So if you're walking slowly and you want to pick up the pace, then go back into a memory at some point in the past in your life when you were able to move swiftly and quickly. Perhaps you were a runner when you were in high school. Perhaps you were a golfer and you were chasing after the golf ball. Perhaps you're a tennis player. Whatever it is, just go into a different space and then see if you can't literally turn off the channel that's not working for you and turn on the channel that is. So that's just a broad general way of saying you just want to access different neural networks. We've got billions of these networks to access. It's just that we tend to access the same ones that habitually are not in our best and highest good, that create problems with balance and the possibility of risking falls. So the key here is to realize that if you are having difficulty, it's time to just figure out a technique, a solution that will enable you to make it all happen. We begin to believe that the only way we can walk with ease and confidence and to have good balance is all due to medications. And I think this is not correct. I don't think it really has a lot to do with medications. Medications do turn off those neurological challenges that are creating some of the difficulties. In other words, they put them to sleep. But in the end, if you really want to address the issue in the long run, it takes a whole different kind of a set of strategies. So that's my suggestion to you my suggestion is in terms of what you can do to increase your ability to walk with ease and confidence. My suggestion is to realize that it really is a multitasking kind of a challenge. For those of you who are men, realize that, okay, what the challenge then is to begin to develop some exercises and skills that will enhance your multitasking ability. Again, we as men, we're lousy multitaskers, and even if you're a woman, I think this would also be of great advantage to you, increase your multitasking ability. So there are lots of different ideas on the member website of how you can accomplish this. For example, one of the ideas is you can take a ball, and just any kind of a ball anywhere, and you can begin to bounce that ball, and as you're bouncing that ball, run through some mental exercises that you just create for yourself. For example, all animals that start with the letter M, or all animals at the zoo, or any vegetable that begins with the letter C, or taking a math problem and starting with the number 100 and subtracting 3 each time. So you're mentally doing these mental exercises, but at the very same time, you're bouncing the ball. That's very clearly a multitasking activity, and the more you do it, the better you will be at multitasking, so that when you are walking, when multitasking is required, you're not going to freeze, you're not going to stumble, and certainly you're not going to fall. So it takes a little practice. One of the questions earlier in our chat room was, what kind of daily exercises can you do that will make a big difference? I believe that just 15 minutes of doing what I just suggest, bouncing a ball, doing these little exercises, the mental exercises that you create. You can start with the math problem, and then you can shift over to all animals in the zoo, or whatever you want to create. Obviously, it's up to you. And I think you'll find that pretty quickly your multitasking ability will be enhanced, will be improved, and you will be amazed at how much better balance you actually are able to have.